Yeah, trying to. Hey guys, how's it going? This is Derek Honest here, live Washington, D.C. We are getting ready to do this Kratom Rally, and I got somebody looking at me like they want me to do something. Do I really have to do this?
You do.
I do.
And you do too.
Josh says no. You're gonna do. If I gotta get up there, man, that's part of the
Come on, guys. For our girl, please.
This is for
Nina. For Nina. Yes, we need to do this for Nina. Come on.
We need to do it now?
Yes, it'll get the crowd going. That's right, her hero.
I'm gonna have to.
Yes!
I still haven't agreed to this, so.
Is the music ready?
Oh,
here we go.
What's that? Oh yeah, I'll hold that for you. Oh, it's got a whole thing there. Cool.
Alright, who has the music?
Can I? Or you can.
Upside down!
Okay. You ready? You got it. Oh, but they have to prove it. Just
You want to come hold this side?
Look at all the love. So many people here in spirit. Oh, are they twerking now? That's how they're gonna start it off. Nice.
Okay, so there was a bet or something. This guy started it. About what, a year ago, he had something to do with a twerk, and somehow I got thrown up here to twerk. So this one's for Nina, I guess. You're gonna have to teach me how to do this because I have no idea what I'm doing.
She looks like the emoji.
Make it clap! Make that thing clap! Come on, where's the booty clap?
Oh, grab my phone, Derek.
Good job, good job.
Wow, there's so many people watching. It's fantastic.
Is there anybody on? Great.
Got shared like 5 times since I started holding it.
Nice. So to go. All right, guys. I hope you like that because that was embarrassing as hell. Oh, I can't zoom on that. And you're
Next
funny.
we have Joe Volpe, who will be singing for us and playing a guitar. Alright.
I'm going to try to get the guitar into this, but you won't hear the guitar. This is a song I wrote. I came to the 2016 rally in Washington in front of the White House.
Yeah.
And this song came out afterwards. It's been on YouTube. I got a note from YouTube that they were flagging it. A lot of YouTube videos about Kratom are being flagged. Yeah, but this was flagged as a restricted for minors from seeing it, which, okay, that's fine. The song is called Heal Yourself. Can you hear the guitar?
Yeah.
Come on now, listen. The tide's on the rise. You can't believe what you see with your own eyes. Foxes in the penthouse, stealing the world. Rain from the sky, trees from the earth. Come on now, listen to the truth inside. Now now you can see with more than your eyes. Heal yourself, heal yourself. You don't need a judge on your medicine shelf. Heal yourself, heal yourself. You don't need a banker to manage your wealth. Heal yourself, heal yourself. You don't need the lawman handling your health.
Woo! Save Kratom!
Come on now, listen. The time it draws near, and you can't believe the whispers in your ear. There's a brain in your head, a heart in your chest. Come on now, and it will be perfectly clear now that you're listening with more than your ears. Heal yourself, heal yourself. You don't need a judge on your medicine shelf. Heal yourself, heal yourself. You don't need a banker to manage your wealth. Heal yourself, heal yourself. You don't need the lawman handling your health. This last verse is for the decision makers behind us. Come on now, listen, all you that deny. There's cotton in your ears and there's mud in your eye. We eat from the dirt, we drink from the sky. We are made of the earth and the earth is our right.
That's right.
Come on now, listen and open your eyes. Heal yourself, heal yourself. You don't need a judge on your medicine shelf. Heal yourself, heal yourself. You don't need a banker to manage your wealth. Heal yourself, heal yourself. You don't need a lawman handling your health. Heal yourself, heal yourself. Thank you. It's on YouTube. It's called Heal Yourself. Thank you.
Awesome. Come on, Kim.
Thank you, Joe. That was awesome.
Yes, Joe. Woo! Heal yourself.
All right, you guys. I want to thank everyone for coming today. Sorry we're getting started a little late. Traffic was a pain for everybody to get here. But before I got on my flight, one of my team members reminded me of where we came from and how this rally was set into motion. So I wanted to start this rally off with a little backstory to it. Several months ago, the community was discouraged from doing a rally. We were all basically told it wasn't the right time, that we didn't have the full support of the entire community to do a rally. There were a few amazing Kratom warriors who just happened to disagree with this. Yeah.
Save Kratom! We are Kratom!
They believed that the consumers had the right to use their voices, to act, and to make change. They wanted to make a rally happen, by the people, for the people. And that is exactly what we all have done here. The community all came together to do this. So from this, with the help of the National Kratom Coalition, Kratom Community Grassroots was born. Kratom Community Grassroots rose from the idea of a DC rally. And today we have made that dream come true. Kratom Community Grassroots is a 501(c) nonprofit organization who organized this rally with the help of the National Kratom Education Center. Kratom Community Grassroots was not only formed to preserve the legality of Kratom, but to empower consumers, all of you, to use your voices to make change. At the beginning, it was just a pipe dream for us. We had no idea if we could pull it off. But here we stand today, along with all you beautiful people.
Woo!
Sorry, you guys work with me here. So firstly, I want to say thank you to the entire KCG team. Amy, Nina, we love you, Nina. We're thinking of you. You're here with us in spirit. And Lisa.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. NKC, the vendors who donated and are attending here today, who helped make all of this happen. Most of all, I want to thank you all that are standing here in front of me today, our Kratom family, our community, who put up a united front here today. You have no idea how beautiful you all look here together. We were told
Yes.
our voices didn't matter, that we shouldn't act on the misinformation that's been spewed by media, the FDA, and DEA. Thankfully, some people put a fire under our butts and gave us hope that we, the consumers, the community, could make this happen. So give yourselves for the community. So give it up for yourselves for the community and our beloved plant.
Woo! We are Kratom!
And we're here representing those that can't be here with us today, either because they've left us permanently or they're just merely absent. And although these folks aren't physically with us, they are here on our minds, in our hearts. And on that note, we have someone very special we'd like to recognize. She's encouraged us from the beginning. She has busted butt behind the scenes, raising funds, soliciting donations, and making arrangements, and taking complaints. She's cried, she's worried, she's hoped, all for a cause that she believes wholeheartedly in, but for an occasion she's physically unable to attend.
So thank you, Nina Adjin.
We love you and we miss you.
Sorry, you guys, bear with me. I love how understanding and supportive and how much we all understand we have anxiety and all these types of things. So we're here to lift each other up through something like this. So,
Kratom changes lives!
I'm too short for this thing. All right, so my name is Kim DeMott. I am a 32-year-old stay-at-home mom to two amazing kids. My daughter Jasmine is 11 and my son Connor is 4. I am also a Kratom consumer and avid Kratom advocate. I have lived in Sacramento area part of California for the past 16 years and was born and raised in the Bay Area, so I haven't really left California, so this has been a really exciting thing to be able to come here too. So over the last several years, I have been diagnosed with several chronic health conditions, including lupus, fibromyalgia, Sjogren's syndrome, osteoarthritis, carpal tunnel, migraines, endometriosis, IC, chronic fatigue, chronic pain, anxiety, and depression. The beginning of 2013, which was actually 10 days after I found out I was pregnant with my son, I was diagnosed with lupus after spending years with chronic pain, debilitating fatigue, and other god-awful symptoms. And shit, sorry guys. There we go. And this was only the beginning of many chronic health conditions that would be unfortunately diagnosed with over the next several years. There was a time that I was prescribed 24 different medications a day, including massive amounts of powerful opiates and benzodiazepines and steroids, and my list just goes on and on and on. Even though I was taking all these different medications, I was still in pain, still had pretty bad anxiety, still do, and still had no quality of life whatsoever. I was house-ridden and practically bedridden, or at least what I called it was couch-ridden, the days that I can make it from my bed to the couch. And this was pretty much from the ages of 28 to 31, and having to use a cane and use the walls of my house to walk, which is no way for somebody in their 20s and a mom of 2 kids to live, let alone anybody. My health became so bad that in the fall of 2014, my doctors actually labeled me permanently disabled and told me to go get in-home support services and to file for SSI. At this time, I was only 29 years old. I would have to tell my kids that mommy was in too much pain and too tired to take them to the park, play with them, pick them up, take them to school, or be involved in any of their activities, which caused them and me to miss out on precious time and memories that we can't ever get back. I couldn't cook, clean, drive, go to the store, or even go on a short or quick walk. They would see and hear me hiding in the bathroom and bedroom crying from the pain and the feeling of a failure that I felt as their mother. I couldn't take a shower, brush my teeth, or get dressed in the same hour because I would have to rest with every task that I did. I became isolated, depressed. I stopped answering my phone, texts, messages, emails. The medications the doctors put me on made me gain a lot of weight, made me feel incredibly dizzy, really messed up my self-esteem. I was sleepy, forgetful, sick to my stomach, and like I was in a fog or a zombie. Side effects led to even more medications being prescribed, which meant more pills to add to the already ridiculous amount I took daily. I was so depressed and hopeless that I actually attempted suicide almost 3 years ago. In 2016, I began talking to a friend in a Facebook support group, hi Jen, who also suffers from debilitating pain, fatigue, anxiety, and depression. She started telling me more about Kratom and how much it was helping her. So for the next several months, I researched all I could about it. Finally, I made the decision to give it a try. I mean, at this point, I really felt like I had nothing to lose. I had tried everything. Little did I know that this was going to be the best decision I have ever made in my entire life. For over 1.5 years now, I have enjoyed drinking my Kratom tea and have been actively involved in the community and advocating for it. It helps promote my mood and energy just like a cup of coffee would. It also supports my joint and muscle comfort, which helps aid in the discomforts I have, making my chronic fatigue, and even my pain much more bearable. My pain is not completely gone. It never ever will be. It's just finally brought to a level that I can deal with, live with, and function at. I do still have my bad days, but they are nowhere near as frequent or as bad as they used to be. It has greatly improved my quality of life and has dramatically changed it for the better. I'm not spending every day on the couch or in bed anymore. And my kids have their mom back, and they are happy that we are doing so much more together.
Ooh.
Not only are my kids happy, but so are my family, friends, and myself. Everyone tells me they have seen a huge change in me and that I am much more like the old me, which is something I have longed for ever since everything started so long ago. For the first time in years, I don't feel like a prisoner in my own body and like my chronic illnesses and pain control me. I am healthier and taking better care of myself, including eating better since I can finally cook and exercise and clean and do all those things I wasn't able to do before because I have better mobility now. I even feel confident that I will be able to return to work someday and plan on returning back to school this year. I look forward to each day and am excited for what the future will bring. I am full of hope, and most importantly, I am setting a better example to my kids. I have the right to choose to take a natural supplement that supports my overall well-being, and so do the hundreds of thousands of adults across America that use Kratom responsibly and as a tool and herbal supplement, which is one of the many things that is bringing us here today. Thank you. Now I'm going to start introducing our speakers. We have Norman, you're up first.
Go Norman Bamford!
Thank you, guys.
Good job, Kim.
Thank you, Ken.
All right, first, Derek, would you be able to turn this mic up a little bit?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
For me.
Sure.
All right.
I know Derek's
he's got it.
familiar with sound equipment, so.
He's sending someone else.
Yeah.
He's also a good supervisor.
All right, guys. For somebody to come up here, it takes a lot of courage, and with somebody who suffers with anxiety, it really does take a whole lot to come up here. So I want to kind of feed off your energy. There's all kinds of people around here that have no idea why we're here. So I want us to chant, keep Kratom legal 7 times as loud as you can. You with me?
Yep.
All right.
Keep Kratom legal. 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 Woo! I am Kratom.
Rock, guys. That's awesome. All right, like she said, I'm Norm Bamford. I'm the owner and president of Taunton Bay Soap Company alongside Veronica Bamford Connors. We've been in business for about 2 years as Taunton Bay Soap Company. There's a huge, long history that I won't get into now about that, but a little bit about myself. In 1997, as a kid straight out of high school, we're talking like 2 days, I signed up with the military and I joined the Air Force. And being a good kid from Maine who never got in trouble, never ever did anything illegal, I was quickly thrown in with a higher than top secret security clearance. That threw me into the world of intel. And I've seen things and I've done things that I'll never be able to talk about with anybody. Not because I don't want to, because I'm not allowed to. And being in that kind of environment, you know, when I first signed up and when they found out that I was a good boy who never did anything wrong, FBI agents came to our small town, they interviewed all my teachers, they interviewed all my friends, and then they would ask, who else does Norman know? And then they would go and find out if I was lying about the amount of people that I knew, and they would go interview them. I had to do polygraph tests, and it was just a life of constant scrutiny. Every 5 years, that would be repeated. So I've traveled the world. I've been to all kinds of different places. I've been under intense pressure. So that when I came out, I was a different person than I went in as. I wasn't that happy-go-lucky kid that joined the military. Instead, I was a kid who was suffering with depression, anxiety. Every time the phone rang, I didn't know why. I wanted to know, was I being called for deployment? Was I going to be in trouble for something I might have did or said or something, you know, it's not just me, but my family anything they did was constantly on my shoulders. There was one time that Veronica didn't return a library book, and I got into a whole lot of trouble for that. For a library book. You know, on the outside world, I think an employer would be like, shoot, I didn't know he could read. But no, I got called on the carpet, and it was a lot of pressure and a lot of trouble. So when I came out, checking the mail, answering the phone, these were all very difficult things for me. My faith in God allowed me to go to church. I went into the ministry, but still being around people I didn't know, talking to people I didn't know, scared the crap out of me. I was always afraid that somebody was out to get me. How many of you suffer with PTSD? There's a feeling of dread. There's a feeling of people who are out to get you. It was hard to hold down a job when you have those kind of feelings. But I did the best I could, and I pressed on. And then Veronica remarried Derek, and Derek introduced this thing called Kratom into our lives. And I was dead set against it, to be honest. I Googled it, and of course, the first thing that came up were bad things. And I was so against it because I'd never done anything illegal. In fact, my 10 years of military service was exemplary. I never did anything that was wrong. And so the idea that this could be wrong scared me. And I didn't want her a part of it. I didn't want him a part of it. I was totally against it. And they kept on me. They kept on me, trying to get me to try this tea leaf. Now, for everybody out there, can you imagine being afraid of a tea leaf? It's true. It's a tea leaf. But then one day, I had no choice. I had kidney stones. If you've ever had a kidney stone, they are excruciatingly painful. I didn't want to go to the hospital. I didn't want to talk to doctors. I didn't want to talk to nurses. But I was in so much pain. And Derek left me a little sample of Kratom to try. So I tried the Kratom. Within 10, 15 minutes, the pain had subsided. And that was pretty exciting. I was able to go to the hospital, then find out what was going on because that just hurt so badly. But then while I was at the hospital, I was able to talk to doctors and nurses. And I was surprising myself. I was like, oh my gosh, this opens up a whole new life. And that's what Kratom has done for me since then. It's opened up a whole new life. And then so when I started Taunton Bay Soap Company, I got to meet all of these people that suffered similar things that I've gone through. Or they've been in so much pain that they haven't been able to leave their beds. And this tea leaf, this wonderful tea leaf, has given them their lives back. And I hear stories like that, and it's so amazing. You know, when you serve in the military, everything that the government does, you view it as legit. Everything the government does is golden. And so I had this strong belief and strong faith that the government had our best interest in mind until I got into this business. And then a bank that I had had since I was a child all of a sudden closed my accounts. Not just my business accounts, but my personal accounts as well. And I was crushed. I literally was crying because I knew the tellers. I knew their children. It was family. And to find out that the government could just push them and convince them with fines and levies to close my accounts for doing what? For selling a tea leaf that's helping people. And then later on, as we started to grow, we got credit card processing. And then one by one, those kept getting shut down because of the government. How can the government do this when we're selling something that's perfectly legal? Something that's helping all kinds of people. How can the government that I serve be doing this to people? But they are. They keep shutting it down, and we've been quiet for too long.
That's right.
We've been way too quiet. We've been hiding. We've been disguising our businesses as sunglasses or soaps. I've been guilty of that before. We've been hiding everything. And now it's time to step out into the light.
That's
Get out
right.
of the darkness and say, this is my tea leaf, and I'm going to consume it. This is my right. This is my choice. And this is what helps me. And I should have the freedom and the right to do that. As not just as somebody has served, but I serve so you guys could have that right.
Amen.
So that you guys could choose how to make yourselves better without putting harmful chemicals into your body. This perfectly legal, perfectly natural, and dare I even say organic? I won't.
Woo!
Plant is amazing, and it's helpful, and they want to take it away from us. So I say, keep Kratom legal.
Keep Kratom legal. Keep Kratom legal. Keep Kratom legal! Keep Kratom legal! I am Kratom!
All right. Who's up next?
Awesome, Norman. Woo! We are Kratom! We are Kratom!
Here you go, buddy.
All right. Hi, guys. Forgive me for reading off this. My memory's not what it used to be.
What's your name?
My name's Barry Masson. I am a 70% disabled veteran. And I own a small kratom company called EE Botanicals. In August of 2012, I deployed to Kuwait, serving for the United States Army. I suffered a traumatic brain injury. I was prescribed tramadol for a back injury, which was at the time purported by pharmaceutical companies to be a non-narcotic alternative to opioid pain medication. I don't know if you guys know this, but tramadol is in fact a narcotic, and it lowers your seizure threshold. The combination of this dangerous medication, the heat, and the stress of deployment caused a violent grand mal seizure that led to the traumatic brain injury. The months that followed were absolutely miserable. Symptoms began to emerge almost immediately. Anxiety, migraines, depression, insomnia. All of it came with the new prescription, and all of those came with side effects. So they just kept giving me pills. I began to lose myself in these medications. From antipsychotics to more narcotics, I was taking pills from sunrise to sunset. At first it was only the ones prescribed to me. But then those ran out, and I turned to the street to keep my withdrawals at bay. Eventually, my addiction to opiates consumed me. My life became a vicious cycle. I was either getting pills or looking for them. Finally, on a search for something, anything, to keep the withdrawals at bay, I stumbled upon Kratom in a Oklahoma smoke shop. Within 20 minutes of my first few capsules, I was positive that my life had changed forever.
Amen.
And as you can see, it has. There's absolutely no way I'd be able to stand up here and talk. I mean, I was diagnosed with agoraphobia. I couldn't even leave my house for 6 months or something.
Kratom changes lives!
Hell yeah, it does. I would not be able to stand in front of all you today without the power of this amazing plant. I don't believe I would be able to raise my 2 kids, who are 2 and 4. Now, I don't know if you guys know this about kids, but they have endless energy, and they will wear you out. Let's see. Run a business or have any sort of success without Kratom. Every day when I go into work, I get to see the positive impact that Kratom has on people's lives, changing it for the better. I get to talk with people like you guys every single day who use Kratom to feel better. And it's why I started doing what I do. It's such an amazing and overwhelming feeling when you see somebody who's used Kratom to, get off of opiates or who use it to treat a chronic illness or something, along those lines, and it's dramatically changed their quality of life. It's absolutely amazing. It's something incredibly beautiful, and it's something I won't stop fighting for. Thank you.
Awesome job.
Ladies and gentlemen, Cam DeMont.
All right, thank you, Barry. Our next speaker is Scott. Come on up here, Scott. Where'd you go? He was just standing right there next to me.
Scott!
Scott.
Scott Ruby!
There he is. All right, Scott. Your turn.
Kratom is a tea. It grows on a tree in Indonesia and it's ground and crushed up to make a tea. We make tea out of it every day. Do your homework. Besides running your mouth.
Okay, doke. Hi, guys. I'm not quite sure where to start.
DC helps.
I have literally so many back problems I couldn't name them all. Some of you guys wouldn't even understand the diseases, probably. Definitely degenerative disc disease and whatnot. I'm kind of
How do you feel now?
How do I feel now? I feel free for the first time in my life. Not only from the dangerous cycle of the drugs that were being pumped into me and then taken from me. And then I was unfortunately pushed out to the street. And we have no idea how many chronic pain patients are suffering this same thing. And they think they're going out there, they don't know what kind of product they're getting, and people are dropping like flies. Not to mention, you know, that's just one narrative. But I'd like to speak about, you know, people that are suffering needlessly when there's such a simple solution. And the only other solutions we get are coming from pharmaceutical companies with their safe alternatives that, you know, only kill hundreds of thousands of people a year. That's acceptable. And, you know, 44 deaths, well, if you got a half a dozen other drugs in your system, I don't think that's quite the cause there. I really didn't prepare for this. I'm kind of scared. Nervous.
We're all family, Scott.
I just gotta say, I can't believe that we're sitting here freaking talking about this. This is one of the most ridiculous things, like, I think that American citizens have ever had to fight for. I mean, who are we hurting? Nobody. Who are we helping?
A lot of
Everybody that
people.
touches this plant. I mean, I've never heard of any negative thing before the DEA and their whole misinformation campaign. That misinformation campaign goes to prove that we are winning. And they're going to continue, and we're going to continue. And we won't stop until our plant's safe and we are all safe.
That's right.
We deserve to be happy and healthy.
That's right.
You know, it's in the Constitution, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And I feel they are. They're taking that right away from us. And, you know, I'm able to just live a life and not be high off my ass on pain pills and all this. It's really was a hopeless cycle. I have hope now. You know, the spiritual healing that happened, you know, after I got through my post-acute withdrawal and able to know myself instead of, you know, just being so stupid and out of it. It's a wonderful thing. And I know a lot of you experience the same thing. And I'm able to spend time with my family. I don't feel like a burden to everybody I'm around. I enjoy nominal things like washing the dishes and, you know, I enjoy these things now. And before it was like pulling teeth just to get up out of bed. So
I still don't like dishes.
Yeah. I love the dishwasher. But I really think it just absolutely pisses me off that we're even here right now, that we even have to do this, and we're gonna win.
That's right.
We're still winning.
We're not going anywhere. Veronica. I
just want to say, along with Kratom, the support support of every one of you here. You guys have helped thousands of people change their lives by educating and being support group. And people are able to help themselves. And that's the most important thing. You know, they're not stuck in a cycle. And it saved my life. And that's all there is to it. And without it, I don't even know that I'd be here.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Scott.
Yay, Scott, thank you.
Yes.
And I know what he said is so true for so many of us. If it weren't for Kratom, none of us or most of us would not be here right now. I never ever thought I would be in Washington, D.C. organizing a rally. You know, like I couldn't physically do this stuff before. So it really, really is amazing to see how many lives are continued to be changed by our amazing plant. So next up for speaking, we have Sage.
Sage!
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Sage.
And I really like participation, but I'm also woo! Keep Kratom legal.
Keep Kratom legal.
I honestly wish that I could make this a question and answer, because I like to pick people's brains so that I can hear what you have to say. And I like for people to pick my brains, because honestly, to me, the way we all improve and move forward and succeed as a community, as a country, as individuals, is we learn from each other. We all have different experiences, and that shapes who we are. Thank you. See, my experiences, I couldn't figure out how to raise that. So apparently he thinks I'm really tall. Okay. How's that?
There you go. Beautiful.
I'm okay if it hides me a little bit. I wanted like a nice little thing that I could just set this on, and then I could pretend like I have a speech written here, and then hopefully the words that came out were really well put together, and I did this great big applause at the end. Instead, I'm going to take my little notes. I'm going to take my little notes and do my best. I'm going to start off sharing something that I usually only share when I come across a situation that has impacted somebody personal, and they want to know what somebody was actually thinking about when they chose to take this path. In 2003, I made sure nobody would find me, and I took over 80 pills. Well, I took 40. I wrote my notes saying how sorry I was, but I knew that by the choice I was making, and I'd been actively suicidal for months, that I knew, without a doubt in my brain, the choice I was making was better for my 2 young children. My family and my friends were much better off to deal with my death once than a lifetime of the cycle that I led. I didn't know what consistency was. I didn't know what stability was. I thought I knew what love was. I didn't know how to give it, and I didn't know how to accept it. I wanted to live, but I no longer wanted to live continuing to hurt other people. So I choose, back in August of 2003, so it'll be 15 years this August, to end my life. It put me in a brief coma. I woke up in a cardiac ICU because of the meds, the prescribed medications that I had taken. And then it put me inpatient in a psych ward, locked down, where they have their value. Don't get me wrong, there's some good ones out there. There are some amazing inpatient facilities. But when you have no skills and have no hope left, it's scary. You have all your rights taken away. I couldn't hold a pencil longer than this. No hardcover books. Couldn't talk to anybody that I knew. I remember the room that the ambulance wheeled me into to get from the hospital. They unstrapped me. I had this huge Eeyore that I'd been given when I was in the hospital. And I just held on to that Eeyore. I was in my mid-20s. And I was petrified. And here I am. I'd never been one for stuffed animals when I was a kid. I grew up on a farm. I had real animals. You know, I'm out riding my horse around, coming off my horse. I mean, the first time my back, not my foot, the first time my back was stepped on, I think I was 5. You know, so hugging an Eeyore, that's the only thing that comforted me at that moment. Also, when I woke up in the ICU in the hospital, the first thought that went through my brain, I was pissed. I was pissed because I was still alive. I was pissed because I hadn't given my family and friends their freedom from dealing with a life of me. As far as I was concerned, I had no value. I had no value to my 2 young sons who weren't even 1 and 2 yet. I had no value as a daughter to my mom, to my brothers and sisters as their oldest sister. Thank you. That was August.
Love you, Sage.
A lot of other drama and trauma and all the amas and itis and all that good stuff going on at the same time in life. That just continued to steamroll. And got out of there. Obviously, I didn't stay in there forever because I'm here. But I visited many more places like that over the years. And that was in 2003. In 2010, after every 2 years of cycling, and don't get me wrong, plenty of times in between there, I thought I had it figured out. I was like, I tell my older sons, I have this joke. Every time I turn an 8, and not 8 years old, but like when I was 18, I was ready. I moved out the day I turned 18, and I was ready. I knew how to work. I graduated high school. I met a great guy. I was ready for the world. I mean, who actually needed to know how to budget? I was ready for the world. And then I was 28, and I was like, man, I am a suicide survivor. I am getting, through a divorce. I figured it out again. Now I know not what to do. And then I turned 38. And again, I thought I had it figured out. Now I'm 41 or 2. Stop laughing unless it's to say you know what I mean. But and it's like, okay, raising hands, that's good. Somebody get a picture, evidence that you agree with me. But anyways, I'm done with thinking I know it all. I'm done with thinking, either that or I have to just stop turning anything that ends in 8. And I think it's easier to say I'm done thinking I know it all. So, I really, every time I learned more things, I took it as in, oh yeah, I've got this. If I just don't do this, I'll be okay. Well, if I just don't do this, I'll be okay. Guess what? Living your life in fear is not a life. I lived in so much fear. When I had that first true, and I call it a true, not to dismiss anyone else's suicide ideation, suicide thoughts, active suicidal suicide ideology. For me, it was a true suicide because it was the first time that I wanted to complete it. 100%, there was no doubt in my mind. I had been actively suicidal for months. No one knew what to do with me. I got turned away from the hospitals, and I was taken in by the ambulance, I was taken in by the police. I went in personally. I remember my now ex-husband taking me in one time, and he always loved to listen to the music loud. And he knew something was up. I mean, wanting to kill myself, obviously, he knew something was up. But he really knew I wasn't just attention-seeking, because the song came on the radio by Matchbox 20, I'm Not Crazy, I'm Just a Little Unwell. And every time that song came on, I would blast it, because I'd have these brief moments in 2003 where I just knew I wasn't always going to be this way. I didn't know how. I had 0 answers. I had a whole lot of fear and 0 answers. But I knew one day I wasn't going to be this way. And to this day, that song comes on, and I have an awful singing voice, but if nobody's around, that is my song. I'm not crazy, I'm just a little unwell. One day. 18 months ago, ballpark, 18 months, I was introduced to Kratom. My one day had already started when I was introduced to Kratom, so I'm not going to lie to you. My one day had already started. But Kratom has been another phenomenal tool in my toolbox that I get to live this life. I like my life. I like my friends.
Amen.
I like my family. I don't just like my life, I want my life.
That's right.
When I have bipolar, I have OCD. At the time, postpartum depression, it has to do with pregnancy, so I can't stand here and say that my last son was born 4 years ago and I still have postpartum depression unless you have an odd case of it. But yes, at that time, when I had that first suicide attempt, I had a horrible case of postpartum depression. So I've also been diagnosed with that. I'm putting that disclaimer in there because if I get text messages, phone calls asking if I'm pregnant, no. No. But, you know, it became normal that people did not expect stability from me. I have a few awesome people who don't pretend to be perfect, but they always believed in me. They were like, Sage, you're off your rocker. Sage, we can't, you can come see us, you know, but I'm not gonna leave you home alone. I'm not gonna let you drive my vehicle. But we know you'll get there. It's okay, you'll get there. And they just, every time I fall flat on my face, that's all right, you're gonna get there. And I'm so grateful for those people. And I'm grateful that I get to try and give that to other people, because each and every one of us have it within us to achieve a quality of life that we find satisfying, gratifying, and enjoyable. Yours doesn't have to be mine, and mine doesn't have to be yours. But we can all do it. So I talk about this toolbox. Anybody got any experience with mental health? No? Yes? Maybe? I've done peer recovery training, okay? I've done ECPR, I've done RAP, I've done DBT, CBT, I've done, the whole alphabet, okay? I've seen psychiatrists, I still see therapists. You know why? Because I'm not stupid. I know the potential my brain has to lie to me. So what I do is I make sure I keep my toolbox filled. I make sure that I know when to use the DBT skills. I make sure that I know when to use my peer support skills on myself. I make sure that I know when I'm getting into a danger zone, hey, I need to reach out for some friends, because that's part of my support team. That's part of my toolbox. I don't even know if I'm on track or off track here.
What else is in your toolbox, Sage?
What else is in my toolbox? You all.
Yeah.
Community. Community is so important. You know, I no longer sit there and go, you all would be better off if I was dead. I feel that I'm beneficial here. I'm not the most important person here, but I am a part of this community, and I have value. I can actually see that value because Kratom works with my body system so that I can use the rest of my tools. Kratom works with my body system so I can recognize when my brain is lying to me, and I can call out those lies in my own brain. Kratom, I've lost over 50 pounds since I've started taking Kratom. Now, it doesn't mean I don't eat. It doesn't mean I do not have a workout regimen. Let me tell you, I think I'm allergic to exercise, okay? I do not have a workout regimen. But I truly believe the only difference I can find since I've started taking Kratom is I always thought portion control was stupid. I did not understand how people could do portion control. I'm like, daggone it, that whole baked potato is good, and it's even better if you add sour cream, cheese, bacon, extra butter,
Amen.
pepper. Yeah, we like our potatoes loaded. You know, smash, loaded, load that baked potato up. Sweet tea, I'm from the South, we want true sweet tea, and there's not enough sugar in it till it's syrupy, okay? So, that's just the way. Now it's like, oh wait, my brain is not obsessing over things. My brain, I can actually deal with the anxiety I'm having and not say, well, I'm just gonna feed the anxiety with physical food. I lost 17 pounds before I even knew I lost 17 pounds. At that point, I was going to see my therapist every 3 months. They check your blood pressure, they check your heart rate, your oxygen, and your weight. You know, we love when they check your weight. I'm looking at the scale, I said, your scale's broke. He went, what? I said, I lost, it's 17 pounds off. Your scale's broke. He goes, And I had a great relationship with this guy, so don't get me wrong. I said, it's broke. He goes, Sage, it says 17 pounds less. You're not going to take that? And I said, well, I mean, I'd love to take that, but it's broke. So we got off, reset. I got on. I went, I've lost 17 pounds. So I'm sitting with the doctor. He goes, are you not eating? Are you not sleeping? Because heaven forbid I go manic. I go manic, we're all doomed, okay? Please, if I go manic, block me on Facebook, okay? Don't go see me, block me. Anyways, so that's how it started. I started realizing that I was no longer getting up out of bed if I couldn't sleep and grabbing a bowl of ice cream. Although my favorite, I will admit, feel free to send them as Christmas gifts, Amazon Prime. I've got a P.O. box you can send them to. Pace Picante Hot Salsa.
Yeah.
Chips and salsa, okay? That is my little, that's a toolbox thing. Literally, if you do a rap class, it talks and rap about a specific toolbox. But now I can sit there and go, you know what? I need some time for me. I'm going to find a good comedy to put on. I'm going to grab a bowl of chips and a little, serving of salsa and my water, and that's what I'm going to eat. Not the entire jar of Pace Picante salsa and not the entire bag of chips. That was normal for me prior to December 18 when I started utilizing Kratom. Okay? So I talked about the community. Apparently not following my little jotted down notes. So I talked about the community. I grew up in Nelson County, Virginia. Small little town. We got a county. We got a first stoplight in 2000. So very small. Everybody pretty much knows everybody. I left there in 95, all over the country. Not going into all the gory details, but feel free to ask me questions afterwards. I'll share with you some of my story. I have lived Florida, Washington State, Colorado, Texas, Tennessee, you get the drift. I've moved all over. And so when I moved back to Nelson County, Virginia several years ago, there was some panic and anxiety inside me. I was experiencing distress because I thought, my goodness, are they going to think of me as the sage from the 90s? I would go back to visit, but I wasn't really part of my community. Now, I substitute taught the last 2 months of the school year. People were fine with it. I mean, I actually, with Kratom, I should have cycled by now for my 2-year cycle. I'm not cycling.
Amen.
I mean, I'm not saying I'll have good days and bad days, but Kratom is allowing me to use all these tools and recognize what's going on. It is amazing for me, the difference it has continued to make in my life. It has been 18 months of just, I enjoy my life. I remember walking by the apartment in my trailer back 4 years ago when I lived in Tennessee, and I couldn't even enjoy the sun for over a year. And one day I was walking by my front door and it was open and there was a breeze and I went, I could taste the air and it tasted so good. That's what my life used to be like. It was normal. It was normal not to want to be alive. Now every day I wake up grateful to be alive. I may not always like what I have to do for the day, but I'm grateful to be alive. So this community, I was at the grocery store. School ended, I think, 2-3 weeks ago. I was at the grocery store the last week of school and I was substitute teaching. And this young girl, I'd had her in class. And I'm looking at eggs and I have OCD. So eggs, do I want, grade A? Do I want large? Do I want extra large? Do I want barn? Or not barn. Do I want brown? Do I want cage free? Which egg do I want? There's way too many choices. Just give me eggs. And this little girl goes, Miss Beam, Miss Beam. I turn around and look, it's a young girl, and she goes, hi. I went, hey. And I thought, here's my chance to, respond to this young girl that I had in class and let her know that we as adults, we as substitute teachers, we enjoy that our students recognize us. I said, it made me feel really good that you recognized me. And she looked at her mom and she said, that's Miss Beam. She was my substitute teacher last week and she was very fair.
Nice.
I get called fair. I spent most of my life not making great choices, and people wouldn't have thought my overreactions were very fair. The Capitol building behind us. Our country's supposed to be fair. So I heard Scott Gottlieb, over our senators and legislators, ask that we're asking them to be fair. We're asking that they have that same feeling that I had that day, having a young girl who owes me nothing. I still have cold chills. She called me fair. She owed me nothing. And I hope they get to experience that same feeling. Thank you.
Awesome. Woo! Thank you, Sage. Mix. Yes, she is.
We're gonna borrow this sign for a minute. They're watching us on the balcony up there.
Kratom saves lives! Kratom saves lives! Keep Kratom legal! Keep Kratom legal! Keep Kratom legal! Keep Kratom legal!
All right, our next speaker is going to be Rob. Here he comes. Yay, Rob.
Hey everyone, thank you for being here and for giving me the opportunity to share my story with you. My name's Robbie. I'm 33. I'm from Virginia. I live about 2 hours south of here. I'm an office assistant for a chiropractor and an acupuncturist, and I'm an herbalist. I've studied herbs and their application for the past decade, both academically and independently, and I also own a small business. For the past 9 years, I've suffered with intense chronic pain. I was diagnosed with central pain syndrome, a neurological disorder caused by trauma to the central nervous system, which is a result of several injuries that I sustained in my youth that did not heal correctly. And because of this, I experienced severe neuropathic and musculoskeletal pain. When I was younger, I was a competitive gymnast, and my spine was constantly under pressure, and due to improper body mechanics and impact exercise, it became too much, and I was also in several motor vehicle accidents, 2 of which involved my car being totaled. In my late teens and early 20s, I started to experience a significant amount of pain. The pain became very severe to the point that after earning my degree in college, I had to medically withdraw from school from continuing my education. I wasn't able to continue working, and I was told to just go home and get better. I only began to work part-time again about 4 or 5 years ago, and during the worst episodes of pain, I only left my home to go to doctor's visits, and the quality of my life was greatly diminished. I had very little hope of ever having anything close to a normal life, and there were some points where I thought death was welcome. The pain and anxiety attacks became too severe, along with depression, and the only thing my physicians offered to help me at the time were physical therapy and medications. They began to prescribe NSAIDs, antidepressants, and muscle relaxants as I tried physical therapy to improve my situation. Physical therapy wasn't helpful because the amount of pain I had to endure and the medications were only mildly effective. The NSAIDs caused stomach pain and vomiting, and muscle relaxants made me too drowsy to take during the day, so I tried to push through the pain. I also suffer from panic disorder. Antidepressants exacerbate my anxiety and cause me to have suicidal thoughts, so I was prescribed Xanax, Valium, and Ativan benzodiazepines to treat the panic attacks and relax my muscles. I've never struggled with any addiction problems, but most of you know benzodiazepines can cause physical dependence, and the long-term use can cause depression. The pain progressed over several years and became so severe I sought the help of different specialists. I've been examined by over 16 specialists, doctors, rheumatologists, neurologists, osteopaths, orthopedic surgeons, infectious disease, psychiatrists, pain management, you name it. Eventually, the only thing they offered me, my only option was pain management. In addition to chronic central pain syndrome, I have degenerative arthritis of my spine and myofascial pain. I'm not a candidate for surgery. I've had physical therapy, TENS, acupuncture, steroid injections, radiofrequency denervation, multiple other treatments. Most haven't been helpful. For the last 8 years, I've been prescribed low-dose benzodiazepines and chronic opioid analgesic therapy for the anxiety and pain. Prior to this was just for symptom control, but nothing was really working. Because of the current status of opioids, my physicians began to tell me they would no longer be able to manage my pain with these drugs. This made my situation even more desperate. They were one of the few modes of treatment that afforded me any relief, and I was being told that they were no longer an option. I felt like the bottom dropped out from underneath me. After doing extensive research on my own, I started taking Kratom September 2016, and shortly after began to experience an improvement in my pain levels and reduction of anxiety. I was taking the maximum dose of 40 milligrams of Valium a day, and I reduced my dose 2 milligrams every 2 weeks, and during this time I was also able to taper off of baclofen, an antispasticity drug, in less than a week. In March of 2017, I tapered completely off diazepam, Valium. I've been told that I'd need to take it for the rest of my life. In May of 2017, I started the taper from opioids. It had been morphine, hydrocodone. At the time, it was oxycodone and oxymorphone. I reduced my dosage slowly over the course of the next several months, going from approximately 100 milligrams of morphine equivalents to 10 milligrams by the end of August. By the first week of September, I discontinued the last 10 milligrams of extended release oxymorphone. By the way, this was like a second birthday for me. I also stopped taking tizanidine, an antispasmodic. Not only has my pain been managed better than I can ever remember, but I've also experienced very few symptoms from discontinuing these heavily dependence-producing drugs. To be clear, these medications do have horrible side effects, and they are strongly dependency-producing, and they're notoriously difficult to stop taking, particularly when you're dealing with chronic 24/7 pain. With the help of Kratom, the transition off was remarkably easy. I thank God for Kratom, as it has allowed me to discontinue my meds and manage my pain much better than in the past. And now I'm also in partial remission from the panic disorder that I've suffered from most of my life. This is a little bit of a test though. I still have chronic pain, but it's much less intense than it was prior to taking Kratom. Kratom has been beneficial in almost every aspect of my health, and I continue to see improvements daily with no side effects. My mood is generally much more positive, and I no longer feel depressed and hopeless. To anyone in a similar situation as to mine, you have a life to live. Don't sit on the sidelines like I once did and watch it pass you by. To those of you who are wondering if Kratom can be helpful for you too, if you like I was, you really have nothing to lose. Thank you all for listening to my story. I hope my experience gives you hope. To my family in Kratom, thanks so much for your support and your inspiration. I know I did not get here on my own, and I'm so very appreciative of all of you. I thank God for all of you and for everything I've been through that has brought me to where I am today. Much love to you all, and God bless you.
Awesome. Good job.
All right, thank you, Rob. God, this thing is tall again, so. Up next, we have Catherine. Where's Kath? There she is. Yeah. It comes off, too, if you want to just hold it. How do we do it?
Turn it. There you go.
There we go. Hi, how's everybody doing?
Very good.
Thanks everybody for coming as far as so many people did. My name's Catherine, and since I was 7 years old, my kneecaps have been dislocating. Usually about every year or two, one of them goes. I've had 15 dislocations since I was 7, and that kind of set me on the downward slope. As soon as I was 18, I started needing to manage my knees, obviously with narcotics. Eventually what I was being given wasn't enough, and had to find more elsewhere. Things eventually spiraled out of control so much I lost custody of my daughter when I was 20 years old. And eventually one thing led to another, and I was homeless, living with my dealer's prostitutes in a hotel, getting busted in a sting when they got caught. So that was fun. My last time getting out of the 3 Hots in a Cot hotel, also known as jail, I met my husband when he was on leave from Afghanistan, and he inspired me actually to get clean cold turkey. We had my daughter Sophia, and then I got pregnant with my 3-year-old Evie. Pregnancy was terrible. She needed to
be, taken out by emergency C-section. And before I know it, after, years of not relapsing, I'm in the hospital with a Dilaudid pump, being sent home with more Percocets. That terrified me. That bottle pretty much represented everything that I had made my life so far up until that point. It represented the possibility of losing everything. 3 days after I got out of the hospital from having her, I went to a memorial service for a friend that was actually held at a kava and kratom place near where we live called Bull on the Beach. And that's when I was introduced to kratom. And it actually immediately halted all of my post-surgical pain, and I was able to put aside my narcotic prescription again. And since then, it's kind of been my mission up until me being here right now to tell people what this plant is. I haven't needed any help for my knees. I haven't needed any, obviously, for the surgical pain. We lose 65,000 people a year, or 65,000 people, a year, to opiates. By not normalizing kratom like what it is by tea, we are complicit in 65,000 deaths. The more we live by example and show people that this is just like your morning cup of coffee, except this morning cup of coffee is what lets me keep up with my kids. It's what lets me manage 2 businesses. I'm not in jail living with a bunch of not in a hotel living with a bunch of prostitutes. The more that we share with the public what this is and how it just creates health and hope, the more we get the court of public opinion on our side. We stand here today for one reason, one plant, one herbal supplement that has either, one way or another changed or saved our lives so wonderfully and drastically that it has motivated us to come all the way to Washington, D.C. today to make it known that we stand here today to say that our lives and the lives of so many others that are lost every year are worthy of being reclaimed, thanks to kratom. They're worth the fight, and that no one is truly lost, no matter how deep in that hole that you may be. People in September 2016, when the DEA originally submitted their notice of intent, they were saying that, we were done. We can't win this. We can't beat them. But we changed history when that emergency scheduling was withdrawn and a public comment period was opened up. 99.1% of those 24,000 comments, including doctors, military, police, veterans, nurses, are in favor of kratom remaining available as an herbal supplement. And we stand here today not as people from Florida or New York or as Republicans or Democrats or men or women, but we stand here today as Americans who are guaranteed life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. How can you pursue that happiness if you can't walk? How can you pursue that happiness when your own body has rebelled against you? Along comes a plant, a tea leaf related to coffee that gave you that hope and ability to pursue that happiness again, that allowed you to reclaim your life through health, through that health or liberty. Well, being that was once a distant dream could once again be yours. We don't stand here as different people or supporters of, the various kratom advocacy groups. We're here as one single group with certain inalienable rights that now we can claim the most basic tenets of what it means to be an American, since we have our bodies back now at no risk of harm to yourself or others. We are at the base of a mountain of history at the moment, and we are willing to climb, claw, and fight our way as far as it takes, because that is for our most basic rights of Americans and for personal independence, that you're not chained to a bottle of pills, for the right to improve our health and well-being in a real meaningful way without being beholden to the stock value of pharmaceutical corporations. If we allow ourselves to be divided when we leave here today back into our own separate groups, we will lose. Our strength is in our numbers. We need, as soon as we leave here, we need to be committed to remaining a united front like we are right now. Right now when we're here, we're not our separate groups. We're all here for one reason. There are more of us than there are of them, and with our strength in numbers, we can change this entire system that has created this problem of us even needing to be here. We will change it from the ground up if we have to.
That's right.
The problem is in the system that prevents plants from being seen as legitimate solutions to our health problems. And we deserve that right to exercise as Americans, and we will make it known to the people that are in that building today that unless the system itself entirely changes, we will not stop. So thank you.
Woo!
Your kids are so cute, Catherine. All right, you guys, up next we have Mike. Come on up.
Oh, Mike.
I'm a little bit tall, guys. A little bit of a knuckle dragger. I'm a lurch. Guys, I'm actually out here. I'm from Avon Lake. My name's Michael Bellman. I traveled out here from Avon Lake. I'm with my really good friend over here, Chris. We're from a small town where heroin has become one of the biggest epidemics. It's killed a lot of my friends, killed a lot of his friends, and Kratom, for it to be illegal, even on the doubt of being illegal, just boggles me. So I'm out here with you beautiful, awesome, amazing people that I've talked to and have just came out here and supported me and supported what's going on. It's just amazing. So guys, give yourself a round of applause for being out here and supporting us today. And give it up for everybody who out here put this together, guys, because this is what's going to keep Kratom legal right here, guys, is you guys. So, it's like I said, the reason why I came out here, guys, is because my friends that had passed away from the heroin didn't get the chance to know what Kratom was. And I feel like us people here, we need to educate and we need to save lives out here, and that's what Kratom does, is saves lives, guys.
That's right.
So thank you for all the vendors that are out there that do what you do. You guys are doing nothing but a great thing for everybody, and you guys help me out. You guys help my friend out. You guys change lives, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart, guys. I wouldn't be out here. I wouldn't have drove 7 hours if it wasn't worth it to me to come up here and say a few words, guys. And I know I'm nobody, but to you guys, but I feel like I have a voice. And we all have a voice here, guys. And
that's right.
I think that our voice should be heard, guys. So, hey, let's say, keep Kratom legal, guys! Woo!
Keep Kratom legal! Keep Kratom
That's all I got to
legal!
say about that, guys. And thank you for letting me come up here and speak at our nation's capital. It is an honor, and it is a privilege, guys. I love all those people out there that I met and put this on. And, guys, give it up for our researcher back there. Raise your hand up there. Yes. She right here, guys, is our future. She is going to be the one that's doing the research that is going to make sure that Kratom stays where it is in our hearts and keeps us alive, guys. So thank you again.
Thank you. All right, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. That was awesome. So, we're doing a little change in plans right now because meetings are coming up. So I'm going to have Melanie and Charity come up here. They are two grassroots advocates that advocated in Tennessee, and they would like to discuss a few tips and pointers for meeting with representatives. So here's Melanie and Charity.
Thank you so much, Kim. Thank you so much for everybody who put this together and for everybody who's spoken. Really appreciate it. I wasn't planning on speaking today, but my name is Melanie Victor and I'm from Tennessee. I found Kratom in 2009 and it's improved my quality of life like I know it's improved all of our quality of life. Meetings are extremely important. And if anybody has time, it would really be a great thing if you can try and meet with your legislators. I just have a list of some points here that I think are really important to keep in mind. I'm trying to keep it really simple and just give a little bit of advice from past experience. The first thing you want to do, I think, is make sure before you go into a big spiel about Kratom that they know what it is. And that should be your first question. Just make sure they know what Kratom is. That way you can go ahead and tell them what it is if they're not sure, if they've never heard of it, because that might happen. And just keep it really simple. You don't want to make things super complicated. Just try and keep it as simple as possible. Being nervous, like I am right now, is actually a really good thing, believe it or not. Legislators are, they hear from professional lobbyists all day long, so they actually find it refreshing when somebody comes into their office and is nervous. That's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. Another thing that's really important is to be completely honest. No matter what they ask you, even if it's a hard question, you want to make sure that you answer them 100% honestly. Super important. Yeah, that's true. You don't need to tell them more than they need to know, but make sure that you're honest about things. Not everyone agrees with me about this, but we've been told this by legislators. You want to mention what the downsides to Kratom are. You want to tell them, hey, we do need more studies. We don't know everything about Kratom. There are some issues with it, so definitely mention that too. And finally, if you don't know the answer to a question, just tell them, hey, that's a great question. I don't know the answer, but let me get back with you on that. So basically that's what I have, and then Charity's going to finish with some more information.
Thank you.
And kind of going with what she just said about keeping it simple, it's really super easy. They usually don't have a whole lot of time, and it's not nearly as scary. And after you leave the first office, the second office is a whole lot easier, and then if you go to a third office, by the fourth time you're a pro. But she was talking about not telling them too much. It's not that we're trying to hide anything, but they are busy, and as much as we all care about each other and our personal stories, it's really hard for them to take the time and understand why it's so personal to you. They don't know about Kratom nearly as much as we expect that they would with all the media that's been out about it. So just, tell them a little bit, but you don't have to go into the graphic details of anything. And making sure when you tell them you're going to follow up and send them the information once you find out, do that. Follow up. Send them the information so they know. And when she talked about the hidden dangers or the things we don't know, if we go in and act like there's no concern at all on our community's behalf, it makes us look gullible. And that's what we don't want to do. We want them to know that we expect things to be changed. And I know there will be more that will be talked about regarding those things here in just a few minutes. So we know there's things in our industry that have to be changed. And so we don't want them to think we're blind and oblivious. And so if you do have that time to meet with your legislators or to go see or to go to an appointment, or you think when you go back home you want to go to your state's office and see them, and you just feel like you want some tips from people who can help you after the rally is complete, then if you'll find either Kim or Lisa or Amy, any of the group's organizers, they will give you some information. They will help you. They will talk to you, and they can put you back in touch with somebody who knows if they don't know. So just enjoy the rest of the rally. We have meetings to go to, so we had to come up a little bit sooner than we were supposed to, and we hope you all have an amazing rest of the rally time. Don't forget to meet with your legislators. It's extremely important. Thank you all.
Thank you. Woo!
Awesome. Thank you, Melanie and Charity. All right, next up we have, Melody. Melody, you're up next. There you are. Give it up for Melody, everybody.
Woo!
Veronica, you're gonna go after Melody, okay? All right.
That could have gone nowhere fast, me falling off the platform here. This was totally It was totally unplanned. I had no idea I would ever be doing this. I went on Derek's show a couple times, and that helped. I know a lot of you have seen my story that I went from a walker and wheelchair, and now I bike and hike and rock climb. And because I let you guys see the really good points about taking Kratom. But before that, I don't think that any of you know that I died 3 times. And my daughter had to watch it happen once. It's not that I wanted to actually die. It's because the pain was so bad that I couldn't take it anymore. I just wanted to be out of pain. And they were lowering and lowering and lowering the meds. And I just couldn't take the pain anymore. So I would take I would take a whole bottle of pills at once. And still, nothing happened. I never even got sick enough to where I had to go to the hospital. It was just, I got sick at home, and then by the next morning I was fine again. And I think that there are so many things that I see the group having problems here and there, and I wonder if we each knew that there are more stories like mine out there than anybody cares to admit. I think that we probably have some. I had a friend that always said we all have our hall of shame, and most halls of shame are pretty full, and I can think that mine is pretty full too. I was lucky in that my daughter is forgiving. I'm so glad that younger adults have a better capacity for forgiving than adults in their 40s and 50s. Because I don't forgive easily, but my kids do, and like they didn't have any moms or dads at their events because my husband was teaching school. He had to do choir, which causes after school events, so they had nobody to go to their events. They had nobody to walk them to school, and I don't know, do I blame it on the illness because I wouldn't have started the medications, or do I blame it on the addiction? I think there's lots of gray areas, and like I said, I never thought I would be able to share this with you guys. There are a lot more things. One time I was making some eggs and I laid down for a second, started the house on fire. Just the kitchen. It was a kitchen fire, but it was caused by the medications I was taking. And every one of the medications was prescribed by one doctor. And I got it prescribed at the same pharmacy, and so there was never anything that I did out of line there. So, I think there is a place for opiates. They do have their reason, but I just really wish that we weren't afraid to tell our doctors that we're taking Kratom for fear of getting booted out of their practice. I know that's happened to a lot of you guys. But anyhow, I just kind of wanted to share my story impromptu. I had no notes, so if it was all over the place, I'm sorry. But you guys mean a lot to me, and I appreciate that you guys are forgiving too, because I know when I don't get any sleep, I'm pretty mean. So.
Aren't we all?
Thank you.
Love you.
Alright, yay, thank you, Melody. And Miss Veronica.
Yay, Veronica! Kratom is done big.
Or you can call me boss lady. So I could go into a lot of things about personal stuff and business and whatever, but I'm not here to do that. Thank you. I'm actually here because I was asked to speak on something else. So it's going to be quick because I've given birth to 6 kids, so I understand everybody's bladder issues or might be giving out. So I know mine are. So this will be quick. But we're here to be taken seriously, right? We're here to give a voice to those who can't be here. We're here to fight for people who we've lost in our lives. So the big thing is if we're here to be taken seriously, then we have to take Kratom seriously. So I'm here to discuss GMP. It's a thing, it's important. And so the testing, vendors who are here today, if you're not testing, you're not doing your part. Vendors out there watching, if you are not testing, you are not doing your part.
That's right.
People who are taking Kratom and getting it from vendors and not knowing what they're doing with it, you need to make them accountable. You have to stand up and tell them you want to know that what you are consuming is safe. We need to be able to tell these people what we're doing is safe, and that's not going to happen if people are getting sick or if things are happening because we're not doing our part. And that also includes where you're packing, where your packaging is coming from, how well you're sealing your product, making sure that how you're sending it, whether it's by FedEx or UPS or USPS, if they get a hold of it and it's coming undone, that happens. I've had it happen where packages come undone and there's Kratom coming out of it. There's going to be questions of what it is, and there's a problem there. So we have to be packaging properly. We have to be testing our products. We have to be packing in a clean facility, and we have to care. I'm in this because we're changing lives with leaves, guys. We're changing lives with leaves. So in order to do that, we have to work towards a united front in how that's going to happen. That's not going to happen if we go at it, kind of just, it is a leaf, it's no big deal, I can pack it out of my house, just leave us alone, we can do whatever we want. We can't take it that way because we're literally changing lives. I don't use Kratom every day. I personally don't. That's not something I need to have every single day of my life. I do use it for PCOS. I use it for probably about a week every month. But I don't need it every single day. But I love helping people. This is how I got into this. My husband needed something different. He was on serious medications every single day, and it was killing him. And we found Kratom. And no, I got into it, and I was like, no, this sounds bad, so bad, and I don't want anything to do with it. And then he started taking it. We finally agreed that he could try it, and I could not believe the difference in his life. And we were like, we need to help more people. So 5 years later, this is the train we're on, and if we're all going to be on it together, then we need to be working for a better future. So if you don't know if your vendor is testing, consumers, ask them. Ask them where they're getting it from, if they have tests available. Ask them if they have a GMP facility, and if you can see it. They don't have. If they have a problem with showing you, there's a problem. There shouldn't be any problem with pulling out a camera and taking a few pictures of where they're packing the product that you're putting into your body. Okay, so be accountable. And remember, you're accountable for yourselves too, consumers. If your vendor's not doing that, find a new vendor. I love you. I love you all. Take care of yourselves. And Kratom on. Keep Kratom legal.
Woo! Changing lives with leaves. Changing lives with leaves.
Alright, you guys, so that's going to do it with all of our speakers today. I want to thank all of you guys for coming out and for helping us get this whole thing together. This wouldn't have been possible without everybody in the community. We did a people's rally, so I'm really proud of us for that. Also, we are looking, if you're interested in meeting with a representative today at 4 o'clock, we are looking for 1 or 2 people. If you guys would like to come and talk with Amy. Amy right there in the purple shirt. We're looking for 2 people for the 4 o'clock. And then also, if you are staying past today, like tomorrow, Thursday, we have several other appointments scheduled. So if you are going to be interested in coming and meeting with the representatives and getting some experience to help educate, which I think is a really big thing for this whole rally and the cause in general, then come meet with Amy and us as well so we can figure out teams, and I guess that's it. Yeah.
Awesome.
So, yep, and keep Kratom legal, you guys.
Woo!
Just one final thought, one final announcement. Who here likes Kratom? Raise your hand. Who here likes camping? Raise your hand. All right, we are hosting an event in Harmony, Maine called Kratom Fest, where we're getting together. We're inviting all kinds of vendors. We're going to have campouts, cooking, live music. It's going to be amazing. Derek, when is it? August 11th, 12th?
10th, 11th, and 12th.
10th, 11th, and 12th in Harmony, Maine. Get in contact with Derek Connors. If you enjoy Kratom, you enjoy camping, and just having a good time listening to some awesome music.
Awesome. Thank you, Norman.
Oh, please do not leave the field yet, as we need to have a group photo.
Oh, I caught that live. All right, guys. Well, that was it. How are we doing? Ooh, see if I can catch this thing, huh? Not too bad. So I guess we're gonna get ready for a group photo here. So yeah, that was pretty good. We'll catch you guys. The camera's going all over the place. It's not looking at you. We'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace out.